Good morning, everyone. I am trying a different approach. I'm trying to do this in my car. It's hot and it's been sprinkling a little bit, so I can wait for that to try to go away. It's not going to cool off. It's summer. Or I can try to do this. I turn my adapter that was holding my phone. I had it vertical. I turned it sideways. I'm going to try it this way. I'll see how this works. I have still got the air running behind. It's plugged into the grills of the air distribution system here. So hopefully, if it's not too noisy, this is a test video as much as anything. If you can tolerate this, I might do one or two of these a week because I'm back with my son, helping him out. I've got to get him a doctor's appointment next week, see if we can get some stuff for him to help him out. Now that he's actually wanting to be awake to do his things. His narcolepsy's been acting up. So if we can get back on his medication, that will help that. Okay. We just finished up the 4th. Normally I would do a holiday video, and I haven't really done that. I've been doing it for a number of years, and I don't like what our country's becoming, but I'm going to still talk about it, just not in the same patriotic way that I would have in the past. We got the Star-Spangled Banner, our national anthem, from Sir Francis Scott Key. And this is an interesting story, which I'm not going to go fully into, but I will mention it. It's history, back when this country was important. He was a lawyer, and a friend of his said something they shouldn't. This is under English rule. Said something he shouldn't. They didn't like what he said, so they arrested him. And he went in to get him off, get him released for that. And in doing so, he had to go to where the leader of that district was. And at that point in time, that leader was on a ship. So he went there to negotiate. He won the release of his friend, but was told, we're getting ready to do an offensive attack on the fort up here in the harbor, and we can't let you go because it might release information that would prevent it from happening. So he was kept as prisoner temporarily while they did this fight. Well, the fort had been attacked. Fort McHenry, if I got that right, had been attacked a number of times, and they got tired of the damage, so they went and reinforced it. They put berms up that would catch the shells coming in, deflect them, piled lots of dirt up around, put all their buildings underground so that they couldn't be damaged, and they basically withstood all the attack all night. That's why Jose, can you see, in my Spanish, Jose, can you see? By the dawn's early light, they could still see the flag. Now, the flag was an oversized flag because they wanted to be able to display it throughout the entire harbor. And so it was very easy to see. And the rockets blowing up in the air, they used a form of bottle rocket that explodes in the air like we do now. Only they used them as armament, sort of like the cheap rockets that they use against Israel. They've got a lot of those. So when those explode in the air, you can see the flag before the suns actually come up. And when it came up, they saw that it didn't do any damage. They called off the attack and went home. So we have the song. They were fighting. This is the British that they were fighting, and the ship he was on was a British ship. The Star-Spangled Banner was written as a poem, but they decided to go ahead and put it to music. And what did they pick? They picked a very favorite English bar song as the background music to go with it. So that song that we're singing when we sing the Star-Spangled Banner, I don't remember the lyrics. I'm doing this live, not live, but without my laptop, so I don't have my notes. It's a bar song that they would sing, drunken men would sing in the bar. So that's why it's got kind of a funny melody to it. but it fit. So not only did we not lose the fort, we get a national anthem out of it with a British song to remind them what we did. So, well, if God wasn't behind us and they weren't preoccupied, which is all part of that, if they weren't fighting the French, who was just across the harbor, they'd have been over here with everything they had, and we wouldn't have become a country. But our 13 colonies became the start. And then we bought from France, when the war was over, basically, we bought the Louisiana Purchase, which is up to the Mississippi. And then through later annexations and grants and buying things, we completed out the country. And then we had to have our own civil war in there as well. And the left doesn't want you to know, but the Democrats, not today's Democrats, but the early Democrats, were the racist people who helped start the Civil War because they didn't want slavery to go away. Because they were using slaves to work. They wanted slavery. They also didn't want the competition from the South. That's why they destroyed their manufacturing buildings and processing plants. They destroyed every mill, everything that could manufacture anything, they destroyed it. They wanted the slavery. The South wanted it too, but the North wanted it too. There were slave owners in the North. Jefferson had them. It was a common practice back then. It was wrong. I'm not saying that it was right, but the Democrats were just as racist as you could imagine, and they're getting the media's covering this as if it's only the Republicans who have ever been racist. No, people are bad without God. So, war, civil war, not good. No war is good. And our current government is pushing, he's poking the bear. He wants to go to war, I guess. They want to reduce the population. Your best bet is there's two ways to reduce the population quickly and easily. Now, one is to a bio-release. Release something that kills everybody. And we've already been through that. And the big C was no worse than the flu, frankly. And they released these, they tested these viral drugs. I was watching a report on that. They weren't really traditional viral drugs. They were experimental drugs that, by putting the viral attachment to it, made it seem like it was traditional stuff that they were just modifying existing drugs. These were completely experimental, and it worked for them. They know they can do what they need to do. The next time they release something, it's going to affect DNA and anything else that they want. If they want to control the people, it will give them more control. Because it worked. So, this evil world is getting more and more evil. It's not going to get better. We can pray for many revivals in pockets until we get out of here. And the sooner you want to get out of here soon, get as many of these revivals going as possible. Satan will want us out of here. And I think he's really in control of when the next phase starts. God gives him control. So he's not forcing it. But when God gives him control to do something, he's going to take the advantage. And if you can get rid of us and blame it on aliens, so much the better. Aliens to serve man, but we're already gone. So there's nothing we can do. But we'll be in heaven. People down here are the ones that we got to worry about. Make sure that we leave them with enough information. That's why I tell you, prep, have extra food supplies, but tell your immediate family where it's at, so they can come to it, and then leave the Bible and tracts and stuff out, so they can watch them. Even leave them a final video. You can put it on DVD or on tape, it doesn't matter. You can put it up on YouTube and just make it private, and have it go out, have a letter that gives the information how to get to it in case you disappear. That's something you can do for your family. Explain to them politely where you've gone, where everybody else has gone, and that they still have hope. So you should have a video online. Now, all my family that are left are Christian, so I don't have to do that spiel. They don't believe the rapture is imminent. They believe it's outside their lifetime. They're not paying attention, even though it's right there in front of everybody. But war is not the easiest thing to do. Biohazard would be it, and we're told there will be some things killing people that are that way. But war is also part of that. The Antichrist is going to have to stop the war with Israel and get peace between the Muslims and the Jews. They're looking for the Messiah to return. He's going to step right in and say, "Here I am." But there will continue to be wars. And I would expect that potentially, with us helping the way we're doing and giving all of our arms away, we won't be able to fight a war. So we won't be able to come to Israel's defense when they're in need. That's part of the plan. It's part of the devil's plan, but the God's going to use that. God uses what evil people do all the time for his benefit, because he knows what they're going to do, and he can set people up to use that. It's not his preferred way, but God's frugal. He uses every means possible to spread love around the world. And if he can use an evil person for that, by him doing something that he thinks is right, that's wrong, or thinks is wrong and is actually right, God will manipulate people that way by letting them do what they think they want to do. He lets the devil do that. God knows everything the devil's going to do before he does it. So he can use that. If somebody needs to be punished, we're getting punished right now with Burl. We turned our back on Israel, supported Hamas, supported Iran, and Burl's been destroying the Caribbean as it comes across. It's getting ready to turn up into Texas, and it might swing around and come back into this area here. We never get wind damage from hurricanes, but they can spin off tornadoes in the branches of it, and we get lots of rain and we can get flooding here. But Texas is next. They're going to get hit. We pay a price every time we turn against Israel. This country does. England just voted in liberals. They're in trouble for a long time. France has realized their problem and they're trying to reverse it, but some of this you can't reverse. We are a product of our choices. All right, how are we doing on time? We're close. Hollywood is not working very much right now. I think they're still worried about a strike, so I'm not working. I've got my schedule rearranged now so that I could work if I get something, but there's nothing coming in. I don't want to work on everything that comes in anyway, because I don't want to work on Disney products unless they're good products. And they're losing money right and left because they keep making woke films. And I won't work on them. I haven't worked on Marvel since they went woke. Now, no business in their right mind would keep making product that nobody wants unless somebody's paying for it. All of our billionaires out there are contributing to this. They're paying for the bad, they're paying for the media, they're paying for the politicians, they're paying for Hollywood, and I use that term loosely, Hollywood, to make movies that teach wokeness. I think we're still in Pride. Are we still in Pride Month? That's July. Yeah, Pride is bad. So they take a bad word and they add a sin to it, and then they're proud of it. Yeah, You're just thumbing your nose at God, and you will pay a price for it. But we're going to continue to pay a price. This hurricane is one of many potentially. We'd better get our act together. Our president shouldn't run, but it doesn't matter. He's a puppet, so just as long as he can stand up and they can work his hand so they can sign things, that's all they need. And if he can't, the vice president will do that. It's the saddest. It's one of the reasons I didn't really do a patriotic video. It's the saddest time for people living in America. But it means we're close to the end. And we still haven't seen them play their whole card yet. Something big is on the horizon. But we don't know which direction. There are so many things that they could trigger. Which one is it? I don't know. God knows. And God knows the day of our rapture. We don't. And we're not going to be able to figure it out. And that's deliberate. That's why it's a rapture. Because we're not going to know. So we may end up in a war situation here before we get raptured. I hope not, but it's possible. You don't want war. I've been involved in war. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and that was a war where Iran learned a valuable lesson. Don't fight directly. Create proxies and let them fight. In Vietnam, we destroyed a country that we really should have had nothing to do with. We were fighting China in Vietnam. That's where we had the line. We wouldn't cross the line. Stupid. Step across the line, shoot an American, step back across the line. No, you can't get me. And we obeyed that. Dumb. But people made money off of Vietnam. Lots of money. All these big aerospace companies, they made lots of money. Arms manufacturers made lots of money. When Nixon ended the war quickly, the media turned on him and basically ran him out of office. First off, he didn't do anything that bad. And spying on the other party, yeah. But that's been going on for years. You can stand in the Capitol building. Look this up. There's a spot where you can stand and you can hear, because of the acoustics of the dome, you can hear, as if they were standing right next to you, groups of people talking on the other side. So when they learned that, they stood there and they would listen in on what's going on. That's spying. They've been doing this for years, and the Democrats are doing it just as much as the Republicans. They just got the media behind it. The media came into their own at that point in time with Nixon. We can argue whether he was a good president or not, but he shouldn't have been railroaded out of town. Certainly our current president has done far worse than anything Nixon even contemplated doing, and yet he's still in office because the media loves the direction that they're taking us. Straight to hell. Tell your friends and family we're not here much longer, and give them, go ahead and make a video, just like I'm doing here. Sit and make a video. Take notes if you need to, so you can remind yourself about things you're going to talk about. Put a letter someplace where they can find it. Gives them all the information. They may need to have access to your bank account. Don't leave it out for people to find, but have it available. Think about them, because they're going to get left behind if they're not Christian. Continue to, offer it to them, but do it softly. Don't build a wall between you and your family members over Christianity. Keep the wall down. Just say, if you have any questions, I'm here, with a smile. So that the door is always open. and let them know that. The door is always open. Jesus says that in Revelation 3:20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock, and if anyone hears me and invites me in, I will come in and have a meal with him. Leave your door open for your family, wherever they're at. I have a prodigal son out there. My older son, not my one that I talk about here. My older son left, he went to college, and he's been indoctrinated. He's a Christian, so I'm surprised that he's taken this path, but that's how strong the indoctrination was. He started going to a Christian college, and he was going to transfer down to Georgia Tech here in the Atlanta area, and they took away their transfer program. So he went to another college, and then he got a job in San Francisco. So I'm not sure if it's the college or working in San Francisco, but he was working in enemy territory for a long time. I'm hoping that he will find his way back home, because I miss talking to him, miss seeing him. That's kind of the way it is. I understand the father and the prodigal son story. You can pray for that too if you want. Pray for me in this ministry. I'm still fighting the filters. As I do better, I don't fight them as much, but I need to make at least enough money off of my YouTube channel to pay for my satellite, which is $150 a month. If I don't make that, then I got to come up with that out of my own pocket, and I have fixed income. So as long as you guys keep watching the videos and sharing the videos, telling people about them, making sure that you like and subscribe and do all the normal stuff, click on the bell icon, you know all this stuff. And I can keep my view count out so that monetization, I didn't initially monetize my channel. I wasn't planning on it. But YouTube monetized it, and they were making money off of my videos. That's why I went in and monetized it. I didn't do it because I wanted to. I didn't want YouTube making money off of me when they were filtering me. I'm not going to pay them to be a burden. So I appreciate all you who are here. We are slowly growing, but I could get, we could double in size and I'd still feel like I could keep growing. I'd like to get as many people involved as possible, but I need your help for that. And thank you for those that do contribute. I have a few over on my Patreon account. The views I get here help me to make enough to cover the satellite, which is $150 a month. I don't know if they're going to ever lower that before we're raptured. It's only $120 if I'm in a house, but because I'm mobile, it's $150. The hardware is all paid for, so that's just my rental fee for it. If I don't have that, I spend about that anyway in gas driving into town to upload videos, because I'm camping in campsites that don't have signal. That's why the campsites are there. They're rural. Get people out of the city, which is what you need to do if you're staying in the city. Get out. And especially if things go bad fast, you don't want to be in a city, because there's more people to fight you over what you've got. Get out in the country where there's more chance of finding Christians, one, and there's not as many people, so they're not going to be as many trying to get the resources. There won't be enough resources in this country soon. They're buying up everything, and they're going to just turn it off, and we're all going to die, those that are still here. But God says, this is what you want. I'm giving it to you. I don't want it, but you want it, and I love you, and I'm going to give you what you want. Ever been that way with kids? That's how God is. He doesn't want anybody to go to hell. It says so. Multiple places. But he also wants to please us. Pray for one another. Pray for me. Leave your prayers in here in the comments. Everybody on the page sees them, and we get other people to join in and pray. I pray for everybody that puts a prayer in there. And I want to hear good news too. You got a new job, or you whatever. you got better from this or whatever. Leave your good stories and your prayer requests. And they're just like we would at church. We get together in the morning and we talk about things. Until we meet in the clouds, God bless.